Our native land?
Africa.
Africa. What is our native land?
Africa.
Africa is the homeland of mankind, and it is our ancestral homeland. Welcome to the African Directory, where we meet daily to discuss the Black Folks Plan. Turning over now to our Managing Director, Herschel Daniels.
Let us all unite and celebrate together the victories won for our liberation. Let us dedicate ourselves to rise together to defend our liberty and unity. All sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa a tree of life. Let us all unite and sing together to uphold the bonds that frame our destiny. Let us dedicate ourselves to fight together for lasting peace and justice on earth.
Is Mr. Daniels muted?
Daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa the tree of life. Let us all unite and join together to give the best we have to Africa, the cradle of mankind and fount of culture, our pride and hope at break of dawn. Oh, sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the sky, let us make Africa the tree of life.
Andrew, do you want me to proceed?
Yes, please, proceed. Ball's in your hands.
And a condom fell out.
Give me 1 second, let me end this.
See the letter they wrote you.
So today, we're going to open with a libation So what I ask everyone to do, if you will unmute as part of the call and the response, and after each statement that I'll read, your response is Ashe.
Mababu Malele, ancestors
We know that it is an African tradition throughout Africa as well as in the diaspora, pour libation in honor and remembrance of our ancestors. So pour libation, and I have water and a plant with me. We pour libation first for the great Almighty God of all creation, our provider, healer, protector, miracle worker, restorer, redeemer of lost time and stolen legacy. For our God, the releaser of secret treasures in the deep mysteries of heaven. Ashe.
Ashe.
We pour libation for Africa, the motherland, cradle of civilization. Ashe.
Ashe.
We pour libation for the ancestors and their indomitable spirits, for the sacred knowledge they entrusted to us, for their resiliency and their strength and their strong, proud shoulders upon which we stand. Ashe. We pour libation for the elders who have labored for decades on our behalf and for those who struggle and wisdom we can learn much from. Ashe. We pour libation for our youth who represent our hope, the fruit of our labor, and our promise for tomorrow. Ashe. We pour libation for our people, the original people who journey out to explore, populate, and establish life across the earth. Ashe. And we pour libation for the principle of Umoja, principle of unity, which should guide us in all that we do. Ashe. Asheo. I'll turn it over to you, Andrew, and everyone can please mute.
Well, thank you so much. Assuming Herschel Daniels is not here, let me greet you all, and let me also open the floor up, if I may, to His Excellency Sharif Al-Day, with any words he'd like to share with us as he comes from the motherland.
I'm calling from Africa.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Greetings of peace to everybody in the house, with all respects observed, and greetings to our elders also in the house. But today, I would like to introduce a special brother, also in Africa, but originally from Atlanta, Georgia, who is doing tremendous work in Africa. So introduce him to you so that you give him the floor. Today I'll have to be silent and let him do the talking. Brother Boyd Chesterton.
Please proceed.
You're muted. You have to unmute.
I'm sorry. I didn't know it was on mute. I'm Boyd Chisholm. I'm with my business associate, Ambassador Dr. Aisha Lawal. We're both here in Abuja, Nigeria, part of the motherland. I live here now, but I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. We're glad to meet both of you and all the participants here. And this is Ambassador Lawal.
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for your speech and welcome. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Please, sir, tell us who you are. Tell us about what you're doing there that we can assist with, and give us whatever words you'd like to share with us people here.
Okay, we are involved in a lot of major projects here in Africa, not just Nigeria. We provide infrastructure funding to governments through sovereign guarantees. And we also provide funding for what we call BOT, Build, Operate, and Transfer, to local and also national governments for infrastructure development and humanitarian projects. We also have a diversified portfolio where we actually act as major facilitators for crude oil and other petroleum products, LNG, LPG. But most importantly, we're here to help Africa to develop its ability to finance its own products, goods, and services, agriculture, and other commodities that are so abundant here on the continent, in Nigeria and other parts of Africa. So we're here to assist you in any which way we can to bring the technology from the diaspora over to Africa, because you need to come back home, okay? You need to come home and visit and see what's here. I live here now, but I've been coming for 28 years. What I'm saying though is the doors are wide open, waiting for all of you. So I strongly recommend you get with Brother Sharif Baldesh. He's from Gambia. And we welcome you to come back home and bring your technology, bring your knowledge and wisdom here so we can help develop the mother country, okay?
Well, in that regard, I want to step out of our normal protocol, if I may, and tell you that we're already there. And on this call, we have Mr. Don Polk. So I'd like him to introduce himself. We'll follow up after this call with action steps. But Don Polk, are you able to unmute and introduce yourself?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much, Andrew. As you said, I'm Don Polk, Los Angeles, California. I've been in business for over 30 years, started in the fashion apparel business on a vertical basis, grew from that to other concerns, including marketing, etc., that led to a strong interest in the political arena, primarily grassroots organizations such as NAACP, where I headed up and helped establish the Fair Share Agreement, national board member of Rainbow Push, and then established relationships with ambassadors there led me to Africa, where we developed a very strong business in the area of commodities, where we specialize or focus primarily in gold first, where we purchase gold dory, bring it to the United States, refine it into bullion, and sell from there. Second product is gem quality rough diamonds. Third product is oil, but mostly oil derivatives, where we're now producing refined petroleum products here in the United States. And everything is in very, very large quantities. But our, and another poster or strong trade item that we're involved with is coffee. We have a business that is very robust out of Ethiopia, where we bought into the US entity that's now called Vantara Coffee Bean Company. And let me also say the other units is Romar Oil Company, Vantara Commodities Group, Gem Quality Diamonds Online, and again, Vantara Coffee Bean Company, where we focus on Ethiopian coffee, which, as you know, is the mother of coffees, the motherland of coffees, I should say, and considered the best coffee in the world. We're also working in Indonesia, Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya, to establish and bring coffees from those countries as well, where we've established relationships in Nigeria. I have a tough time still pronouncing the large names, but we're close to the second most powerful king in Nigeria. We're close enough. I've known Kimi Futajima for about 20 years, who's very close to the king as well, is how I met him. And we're trying to establish some strong roots there currently, trying to work in various areas, including crude. So we have a lot of experience. We are very good at compliance, which is something that is number one for us, compliance, and certainly we have strong legal and accounting teams. So we're poised and ready to purchase. That's our strongest suit, where we purchase major quantities and sell into the market places. But again, we're compliance and professionalism is our top priorities, and we go from there. So we're eager as well. We're involved with FAU and working closely with Herschel and Andrew and eager to help make things happen on an international level with some specialization here in the United States.
Okay. Well, it looks like it'll be a good match, and we look forward to meeting you at some point in the future. Please give your contact information to Honorable Sharif Baldesh, who introduced me to this organization, and he knows how to get in contact with me. And Ambassador Dr. Aisha Lawal, he knows how to reach us. We'd be more than glad to supply you with Bonnet Light crude oil, CIF, to any safe world port, or we can do TTO, tanker takeover, or TTT. We're very transparent. The sellers we work with put up a performance bond from JP Morgan Chase for 2% of the cargo. And our procedures are very, very transparent, where it's only bank-to-bank communication and transactions that we are involved in. And as you mentioned in the commodities, we are also involved in several governments where we finance for gold and diamond mines that may need additional capital, which we can provide, or perhaps there's some things we can collaborate jointly together that would be beneficial, mutually beneficial to all parties concerned. But again, if you would get with the Honorable Sharif Baldesh of Gambia, he knows how to contact me, as well as Ambassador Dr. Aisha Lawal.
Okay,
well,
thank you very much.
So much. His Excellency Balde,
Yes.
Herschel, and I are already connected in a WhatsApp group. So as soon as he connects you there, we'll be connected as soon as now.
Excellent. Yeah.
Elder Prophet.
And one important thing which I want to mention about Brother Boyd and Ambassador Lawal is that they are trying to build big infrastructure projects in different countries in the continent. And they want special EPC companies from minority companies in the United States and the diaspora of our people to participate in such big infrastructure projects. And this is a wonderful thing that they are offering to our engineering companies of minorities and indigenous people. So definitely they need all the support, because they are trying to attract and give business to those companies that under normal circumstances compete with other Western or Chinese companies. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And in that regard, I do want to tell you that prosperafrica.gov is the preferred method I would suggest. However, as you know, each of the countries in Africa has a diaspora commission. So it is actually the Nigerians that make up the largest bulk of diasporans from Africa in the United States. They're the most highly educated. And in most cases, they're at the top of their business industries. I would suggest we start from where we are and move forward, but we can discuss that in the WhatsApp group whenever you decide to move forward.
Thank you.
Mr. Boyd, could you please put your contact information in the chat? And again, everybody is always asked to do so, so we can all network and keep in touch and grow towards our goals collaboratively. Thank you.
Okay. I'm not new school, so I may have to figure that out, but.
His Excellency Balde, His Excellency Balde will be your point of contact, so.
Yes,
John,
I can do that. I can do
Yes.
that, boy. I can do that. Yeah, I'll do that.
No disrespect, but for security reasons, we have.
Yeah, okay. I have to. Yeah.
Exactly.
You have to go to Honorable Sharif Baldesh for our security protocol for what we do. Because we deal with the very highest levels of government. So you need to go to Honorable Sharif Baldesh. He knows how to contact me and Ambassador.
Exactly. So having said
that's
that,
quite true.
having said that, Elder Prophet Cox, I apologize for this delay, but I'll turn it back over to you, Elder Cox.
Okay, well, tonight I invited a guest, Mr. Philip True. He has a organization that he's going to do a presentation on, and I won't try to explain that. He understands it in depth. What I do know about him, the reason why I wanted to bring him forward is his credibility around the knowledge of not just African history, African American history, but the origin of humankind. And so in terms of teachers I've had over the years, he's the only one that I had that went back at least 30,000 years or more. And so if you ever want to have a robust conversation and really be challenged on the knowledge that you have been studying, he would be someone to contact. But that's not why he's here today. He's here for, I believe it has to do with technology, but he will give you the detail. But just as a side note, about 20 years ago, he wrote something on a brown paper bag for me, and I still have it and won't release it because of the depth of his knowledge. So I introduce you to Mr. Phil True.
Thank you. This is my first time being with this group, so bear with me. I'm not real familiar with what all you're doing, but let me tell you what I do. I am a former IBM engineer from the 60s, have been involved in technology for 50 years. I currently own a company called Brombeck Dosi Dodecahedron, short name Brombeck. We are building the largest repository of information of people of color in the world in a digital space. I have a partnership with IBM, and they are developing the platform to operate on their AI system, Watson, if you're familiar with IBM and Watson, which is one of the premier artificial intelligence platforms in the world. With that being said, what we are capable of doing is taking not only all of the businesses that exist for people of color and putting them into a digital space, i.e. a Black Amazon, so we can then trade back and forth with each other, but also I am welcoming any information that you would want to submit to us on the history of African people throughout the world, understanding that we are the original people of all places on the planet. So that's what we're about. We understand this is a major task and a long-term job. I've been in this space 40 years. The late Dr. John Henry Clark, the premier historian of African history, was not only my good friend and mentor, but my wife was his assistant and took care of him and handled his affairs until his passing, along with the late Dr. Yosef A. Ben Yakinen, etc. I literally have all of their books. I have read all their books. In the case of Dr. Ben, I am the only person other than Louis Farrakhan that actually has all of his collection of information. And I own the rights to all of this information in a digital format and have done so for the last 40 years. I made the first CD-ROM for Simon & Schuster, the African American Experience textbook, the Negro League Baseball CD-ROM. I've been in this space a long time doing what I'm talking about, starting in 1982. So I have a lot of experience at this, and I welcome whatever things that you might want to do. The other thing I can bring to the picnic is on the infrastructure side, because I am a partner with IBM, which all of you know is one of the biggest companies in the world. We can do anything in that space dealing with technology on any level you want, from PC all the way up to and including quantum computing. I also have a component of our company that does broadband installations in a wireless format. So that's kind of my spiel in a nutshell. If you have any questions for me, I can get much more in depth. And I would invite all of you to look at our website. It's Brombeck, BROMBIC-INT.com. I think you will find it pretty fascinating. We have a lot of information that's free. We have a lot of other information that is you have to subscribe to it. But what we're building is a space where all information in the world can exist in a digital format.
Great. Thank you so much for your contribution.
And we are all Black owned. This is a completely Black corporation.
Can we get the website in the chat, please?
You're talking to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Please proceed, sir. Whoever is not muted, please mute yourself. Please go right ahead, sir. Thank you.
And I had a quick comment. I don't understand all the applications because I'm not that tech savvy, but what I did for discuss with Mr. True was some months, well, not months ago, weeks ago, in conversations around farming. And Sister Bernice talked about some of her extensive experience around farming. We were looking for a way to be able to capture and codify the knowledge that she has and other farmers have that we don't want to lose. And so I understand from Prince Andrew that there's about 1,000 hours of information that somebody could tackle. And so through this system, and you can correct me if it's true, but that there's a way to capture that. And I added to that, not just the farming information, and I don't know if any of you were on the call when Sister Bernice started talking about things that had to do with farming that I told her remind me of secret societies. I just had never heard of it. They sound real simple in some ways, but it's also information that the average person, probably even farmer, may not know. So there are about 1,000 hours, but then also one of my interests, as well as the information from the elders who do farming, is also the traditional practices in Africa around health and wellness, to have them codified so that they're not lost. On a personal note, my great-grandfather, who was in the South, knew a lot about herbs, a lot of things he tried to teach my dad, who got too busy, so he was not able to teach very much. So there was a lot that was lost with that. And so that's my other side note, which I don't know if I had mentioned to Andrew or not, but, and anyone else have some questions or comments?
This is Muhammad. Since no one else is speaking right now, I would like to say some things that I never hear anyone mention the fact that most of the Black farmers don't have the revenue to get back on the land. So this is a big problem with farming as far as people of color, Black farmers in particular. And let me say this, it has nothing to do with racism. This hasn't. It's just been a pandemic, they can say that, as far as lending money to people of color in this country ever since ever since I've been on this earth, 19, way back there, 80, almost 80 years ago. When I first learned how to go in the garden and set out cabbage and onions, they were not loaning money to people of color to farm then, and they are not loaning it now. And the most Black farmers that had to go to the USDA because they couldn't go to the local bank, the local lending institutions to borrow money. It takes money to farm. I don't know if you all realize that. It don't come out of there. I don't want one drop a shovel or a hoe out of the sky and some seed and say, go to work. It doesn't happen like that. So I want you all to know that I have been a big farmer. And back in the late 70s, early 80s, my two siblings and I, we farmed a lot of land. But people put together a tremendous scheme to get us out of it. That's what happened. And
Please let me finish talking.
I would hope that someone would bring about some type of thought on how Black farmers can get back on the land. That's what I want to hear. That's a lot of times I have to get off because, you know, everything happens. Everybody have to have energy to run their mouth. And that's what we do best is run our mouths. I would like to hear someone talk some positive stuff about how we going to put these Black guys back on the land. That's what I would like to hear. Now, maybe it won't happen, but that's what I'm after. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
And if we could have the presentation, and then we'll continue with the day's agenda.
Recording in progress.
Hesha has completed this. Why?
Thank you, Mr. Robala.
Any other questions or comments about the technology or how it might be used in something that you're doing?
If there is a presentation, now's the time for the presentation. Then perhaps there could be questions. Thank you.
Did you have any PowerPoints or anything, Phil, anything you wanted, Philip, that you wanted to show?
No, you know, because what we're doing is so extensive, the easiest way to begin to understand what we're doing is to take a look at the website. It covers a lot of areas, space, and things that you may want to do, but it would take all of the rest of your meeting for me to go through and explain it to you and show it to you. So it would be better for those of you who are interested in this. I can only say this, and we need to understand as a people that the world is moving into a digital and electronic space, whether we are on board or not. They don't really care. Between virtual, augmented, mixed reality, artificial intelligence, and humanoid robotics, most of the things that we used to do are now a thing of the past. And if we don't understand that, we are either naive or foolish. I can show you right this minute humanoid robots in Japan that teach school, do social work, work in malls. So all of the things that we're talking about, and I'm not talking about robots that look like the robots you see in car factories. I'm talking about a robot that looks like the people on this screen. So we need to understand that technologically speaking, if we don't get on board with this, we will be lost. The reason I'm doing what I'm doing is because all information is going to that space. And our information, people of color around the world, is not being digitized by anyone. It's not in the interest of white people to digitize your information, because 20 years from now, your history will be written by your conquerors and you will have nothing to say about it. So that is why we're doing what we're doing. And this is not a casual occurrence. This is major. This should be foremost on everyone's radar, because the technology is here to stay, whether we like it or not. Young people are not reading textbooks anymore. They get their information via their cell phone, their watch, their tablet, etc. Now, right now, all of the information that's being disseminated to our children, for the most part, is inaccurate. Let me give you an example. The zodiac, as we know it, and everyone is familiar with the zodiac. The zodiac takes 25,827 years to occur one time. There is not one school, not one synagogue, not one church on earth that goes back 26,000 years that I know about. So we have this information, and if we're going by the creation story and what we've been telling our children, which is undoubtedly not correct, because I can assure you, you would not know about the zodiac in one observation. I have a document sitting next to me by a European scholar named Dr. Albert Churchward that says that this information goes back 600,000 years, and this book was written in 1924. And we know nothing about this kind of information. And this is the kind of things they're sitting on right now. Now, when I presented this to IBM, that is what made them come to the table, because everything they had been taught in every institution and or school that they had went to was totally untrue. You think about the creation story in the Bible. That story is not 10,000 years old. There's no religion that you all participate in, be it Christianity, Islam, or Judaism. None of those religions are 30,000 years old.